What the hell is going on, y'all? Holy shit here. In this video, we're going to see what Narcisa can do on defense. She's fast mana speed, sorcerer, limit broken at 989 attack, 864 defense, 1741 HP, special skill, Song of Calamity, deals 240% damage to all enemies. Nice. The duration of status ailments is reset for all enemies. Okay. All enemies get negative 34% attack for 3 turns. She's part of the Bard family, which gives her a 5% mana gen boost. Passive mana increase reduction, which reduces the amount of mana increased by special skills by negative 50% to all enemies. So as a passive mana, is that all the time? It's one of those things where it can happen so quickly you might not notice it. So keep an eye out for that little negative mana symbol when you're attacking. I like the fact that she hits all enemies when she deals her damage. Normally you have a hero at fast mana, they generally will just hit 3 enemies. So if there's a big bonus when a fast mana speed hero can hit all enemies, you're likely to have them go off at least one time for sure on defense, unless you just get bad board. But generally, sometimes it's hard to get anything more than one. She'll likely go off 1 to 2 times. So is that enough to have her abilities do enough damage to get that defense? So you got Morel there, that's doing defense down. Morel ends up having defense down for 3 turns. The 2 turns goes. Narcisa hits her ability, resets Morel's defense down. That could be fairly brutal. If we were to keep Narcisa as tank, perhaps put Kara on the left flank as a taunt hero, Morel on that left wing. Wouldn't mind seeing Costume Catalan to the right flank. That way that you end up putting some sort of defense on the taunt hero as well, and then you can still keep Guardian Kong there as a finisher. I think something like that might have held up a little bit better, but I definitely see the potential of what she can do. Now, although she seems like she has lower stats, but I think they're really good if you really think about the potential if you have the right setup. Now let's review the pros and cons and give her a rating. She's fast mana. That checks a huge box. Decent stats for fast mana. She's going to stay alive long enough, yes. Attacks all enemies. Huge bonus for me. Negative 34% attack down. It's definitely nice to have for a little bit of defense when you're using her on offense. And then putting some like defense down or negative mana gen when you're using that ability of duration of status ailments could be brutal. So when it's reset for all enemies, no matter what that is, I imagine that could be one of those things where you don't see it coming and it definitely hurts. So overall, on offense, I give her a solid A. Could be a little bit more damaging. I would think that with her Bard family, if you get a couple that gets her mana generation up a little bit, that might get her to a very fast mana speed. At that point, I would give her an A+. As far as negatives on defense, the synergy is really important to make her work, to make her pop. Overall, there's not too many negatives, but there's definitely something she's lacking. She's not somebody that, she's kind of in the middle. So you're not going to be too afraid of her, but if you have the right characters around her, like Frigg or, Morel's pretty good, Morel, but you need some sort of like taunt or something that kind of keeps her alive, some dodge or something like that. And then at that point, you'll be like, oh. So I would say overall, A- on defense. I mean, you could bump up those stats a little bit, of course, depending on your setup, but standalone, that's how I grade. So what are your thoughts on this hero? You think they are what I crack them up to be, or do you think that they're lacking? I'd like to know. If you haven't already, support the channel, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later, y'all.